Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Real Talk with Ben podcast. And I'm so excited that you decided to join me today. Whatever you're doing, whether you're just relaxing at home, whether you're on your ride home, or maybe you're just hanging out with friends, whatever you're doing, I'm so glad you decided to tune in. And if it's your first time, hey, my name's Ben, and this is my podcast where I talk about life, talk about stories in life, I talk about ministry here in Hungary, and ultimately I try to glorify Christ through everything that I do. So I want to welcome you, and I hope you'll stick around because we try to have fun here and have great conversations. So I hope you enjoy, and why don't we get into it? So I didn't really know what I was going to talk about this week. I've been kind of doing this camp recap, not really camp recap, but just talking about things I've learned, which, I still will. But you all know I'm a sports fan, and you all know that I am a diehard Ohio State Buckeye fan. I love the Cleveland Browns. I love the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Cincinnati Reds, and so on. And I think you probably know where this is heading, but I wanted today to talk about really just the frustration that I have, not as a fan, but as someone who supports college athletes, someone who has been associated with a college sports team, the impact that it has on these guys. And I want to come at it from a couple different angles. And so if you didn't know, and I'll give you a little recap here. If you didn't know, the Big Ten, which Ohio State's in, as well as the Pac-12, they announced that they were canceling the fall football season. Basically, they were stating that the coronavirus, the uncertainty, and everything like that, the Big 12, the SEC, and the ACC have still declared that they're going to still try to play, which is awesome for them. Not only was it supposed to be a great year for Ohio State as a Ohio State fan, but also other teams as well. You're looking forward to it. It does hit a little harder that it's Ohio State that won't be able to play, and you're going to miss the biggest rivalry in sports, Ohio State versus Michigan. You won't see that. But something hit me, and it's something that really bugged me as someone who has coached, someone who has been around college athletes, someone who has been, who has loved the game, and knows what it brings to other athletes, other students, or whatever. And so I wanted to think about it this way. I'm not one associated with the college sports anymore. I'm not even a part of the media necessarily, even though this is media. But my question is this: are we? When I say we, are as everyone, but especially these sport conferences, even professionally, are we truly understanding the symptoms, the causes of coronavirus, or are we just doing something because of what fits the agenda or fits what everyone else is doing? So we don't want to be that oddball that's doing something. And it's really hard to find that line. And I'm still trying to figure that line out. Even in my own life, like, okay, why do I have to wear my mask here, but not here? Should I even wear my mask? And those kind of things are always popping up. I'm always trying to read and try to catch up on things. And I thought something was interesting. I have the 11 Warriors website, which is a Ohio State website. But it was interesting because you could see the frustration in Coach Day's face. In a lot of these conversations, you can kind of sense it. Like, it's just frustrating. And I don't blame him, being a guy that is coaching at a high level, and different things like that. But anyways, I want to get back to what I was saying. And I think the tough part is that, are we listening to the media, or are we making educated decisions? And again, I'm not in these rooms. I don't know what's being talked about. This is just my opinion. I feel that sometimes we are leaning too much to media rather than leading closer to really what is the truth and what we need to do as, just as people, as human beings, as, I guess, coaches, athletes, or whatever. We need to look at all the facts before we make a decision. And even it's come out, Desmond Howard, he's a Michigan guy, so tough. Even today, he was like, well, I don't understand why they canceled this soon. Why not wait it out for a few more, maybe a month and a half? And I agree. It would be really sucky and it would really be annoying if coronavirus starts fading away. And I don't know if it will, but if it starts fading away, things get better. And then you have canceled the fall football season for two conferences, two big conferences, costing millions of dollars. I mean, Nebraska alone said it would cost Nebraska like 90 to 120 million dollars, which means it would cut more sports, which means less students would have the opportunity to play and to have an education. My question is, do they think about these things? Do they think about, hey, let's think about the student athlete? And that leads me into my second point. The idea that it's facts versus media is the first point. Let's look at the facts. But it's this. Have we thought about the student athlete? Look, I worked on a college basketball team. I was a student assistant. And I can tell you what the game of basketball meant to these guys. It was a brotherhood. They did this together. They did everything together. Everything. They were the safest when they were with each other. No matter their background, no matter where they came from, they knew they were safe together in the place of the locker room, of the place of the facilities. So you're telling me that all these football guys who, for the most part, there wasn't many coronavirus positives, they were doing the protocol, they were doing everything they were supposed to, and yet now you're sending them home away from what it is. And even Ryan Day, who's the coach of Ohio State, even said the idea of this, that he was worried that if they send them home, that they're not going to follow the guidelines maybe as closely, because there's no fall season. Why do I have to worry about it anymore? And so I just ache, not only for the players, and I do ache for the players, but I ache for the fans, the students at these universities, these coaches. So the answer from the Big Ten to the fans is, oh, there's too much uncertainty. Well, in reality, there's too much uncertainty in life, but you don't quit on life. I just think about what the NBA is doing right now in the bubble. They're doing amazing. I mean, yeah, it's not perfect. The NHL, it's not perfect, but they're doing well. The MLB, other than a few cases in St. Louis and Miami, they're doing pretty well. They've even talked about doing a bubble for the playoffs. So why is it that other conferences can still see playing, but not these conferences? And I know it might seem like I'm trying to be biased because I'm an Ohio State fan, and I am a little bit. Would I be talking about this if it wasn't Ohio State involved? Probably not. Maybe. I don't know. But it was just the buildup of multiple things of just trying to figure out the reason why. Why? It's just hard for me to believe that you're willing to send all these guys home. These guys have worked their tails off. Some of these seniors, like my dad said, some of these seniors have worked their butts off for 4, maybe 5 years to get to celebrate their senior year on the field, to walk across on that last home game with their parents, grandparents, family members, to be recognized as someone that has went 4 years through a program. I struggle because I go back to the idea, are we looking at facts or are we looking at what everyone else is saying we should do? And that leads into like kind of the question of what is the safest? Is it the safest to send them all home different ways, different states, some cases, different countries? Or is it safer to keep them where they are, to keep them under the medical attention they have, the coaching staff? It's a question we have to ask. I wish I could grab the coaches, the presidents, the athletic directors. I wish I could grab them. I wish I could talk to them. Because from a fan's point of view, it almost feels like you gave up. You gave up on the opportunity to see, can we do it? Everyone thought the NBA couldn't do it. The NHL couldn't do it. But they're doing it. And I know it's different because it's college and it's not the same. But at the same time, don't these players deserve it? Don't these players deserve the love that you can give them, the respect? How about listening to the players? I think about Justin Fields, Ohio State quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, um, Sanders from Penn State, a lot of other players, and then a lot of NFL players came out and said, let us play. Let us play. See, these players don't care if they don't get a chance. These players don't care if it's the risk they're taking. If they want to opt out, they will. But not only are you affecting these players, Ryan Day says it best. If you don't play in January or February, if you don't have a spring season like they're saying, now you're affecting the rest of the next few years because of recruiting and things like that. Financially, schools are going to be in trouble. Now Ryan Day said they're trying to still play. I don't know what that means. Do they become independent for the year? Do they join another conference for a year? Now, do I agree with that? No. But is it what's best for these kids? I don't know. What I do know is that I think we can look at this in a different perspective. And I wanted to relate this back to our own lives, to our own daily walks in life. I'm sure it's hard at your workplace. I know, like here, I don't have to wear a mask. I don't have to have those certain things. I still have to social distance at times. I still have to sanitize a lot of things. And it can get kind of frustrating. But even though I've said all of this, I still have to ask the question, am I just frustrated or am I actually trying to make a difference? Because yes, maybe wearing a mask is annoying. Yes, maybe some of the rules are annoying, or for these football players, not being able to play your senior season or football season is annoying. And however much we disagree with what is being said, we need to respect those in authority. And I know I struggle with this, and I know you might be like, Ben, you just went on this whole thing about how that things need to be changed. And I still think things need to be changed. At the same time, if this is the final say, then we have to understand it and just go along with it. But I asked this question to myself is how can we change the narrative? How can we change the narrative? We can't change the media. The media is going to be the media. We can't change the facts, but we can change how the way we act towards those people, towards the decisions, and ultimately how we act towards God. Because God knew the coronavirus was coming. The whole world's freaking out. The whole world is in worldly terms collapsing. The yawns are back. But the world's collapsing in the world's terms. But God has a plan. And at the end of the day, it is just a football season. As some would say, it's just a stupid football game. And you're right. It probably is. And to us nerds out here, sports nerds like myself, my dad, my brother, we just want to watch a little bit of football. But at the end of the day, we need to look at truly the safety. And I've had it personally with my own grandma having the coronavirus for a little bit. I haven't had it, and I hope I don't get it. But I have to remind myself that it is a reality that we are walking through every day of our lives. So how can we change the narrative? Honestly, I don't really know. But what I do know is that we need to respect what is being told to us, what is being challenged to us, and ultimately what God is saying. And so I think changing the narrative is changing the way we act, changing the way we respect those in authority. Now, again, I want to go back to the college football idea. It really sucks. And do I think it's fair to these college athletes? Do I think it's fair to these guys? No. I was part of a basketball team that if this would have happened to us, I don't know what some of these guys would have done. Would they have left the school at a Christian school? Maybe. But at the end of the day, I think the most important thing is that that we need to remember that God is in control and that God has the ultimate ability to decide what goes on and what happens. I pray that as Christians, we can think about it differently, that we can try to make a change, that we can try to help others see who God is. And seeing who God is isn't the idea of, well, I guess I'll agree for a little bit. No. God calls us to obey authority, those put in place before us. That means rules, that means laws. And as much as we disagree with them, we have to abide by them. I know there's a lot of fuss in my home state of Ohio and other states as well. But as Christians, we cannot argue with that. We have to follow it, even though it doesn't make sense. But we have to ultimately remember that God is in control and that God will never give up on us. Friends, we can't give up on God because God hasn't given up on us. This coronavirus has just caused chaos. It's called college football season to be canceled. It's called schools to be changed how they're run. Flights being canceled, businesses being shut down, all these different things, craziness going on politically and non-politically. Friends, we need to look truly at how, as Christians, we can make a difference in this world. Let us be the change. The coronavirus has, in the world's eyes, taken so much from us. But you know what? We still have a God. We still have a God that sits on that throne. We have a God who does not deny anyone who wants to come to him. Our God is almighty. Our God is amazing, and our God loves you so much. Do not give up on God because God has not given up on you. So what's my answer? How do I view the college football season being canceled? Or maybe other things? That's a great question. I don't know if we'll ever know. What I do know is that I might disagree with what college football is being canceled. I might disagree with the way things are run here or there, or even here in Hungary when I have to wear my mask sometimes. But at the end of the day, my God is in control and my God is on the throne. So let us remember this always. Let us remember that our God will never give up on us and he will never run away from us. So do I hope there's a college football season this fall? Do I hope at least maybe the Ohio State can play somewhere? Absolutely. Do I think it will happen? Probably not. But I still know that with the rest of my life, God is in control. And so I think this also is a reminder for all of us that the worldly things are worldly things. And we need to spend more time with God and meditate in his word. So yes, this was a different episode. And yes, this was a very unorthodox episode in a weird sort of way. But ultimately, though, I think I wanted to combine the two. I wanted to combine maybe the frustration I had and even some points I was trying to make about college football season. But at the end, I wanted to talk about how as Christians, we need to act in this world with, if God's our savior, how we need to treat this world, how we need to treat him. So friends, family, know that God loves you. And no matter what we go through, no matter what else gets canceled, whether that's a favorite sports season, whether it's a TV series, whether that's maybe something you had going on at church, maybe something at work, no matter what it is, that's so secondary because we serve an amazing God. He's in control and he's on the throne. So if you love this episode of the podcast and you're listening on Spotify or your Apple Podcast, go ahead and favorite it. Like it, put it on there, whatever you do on there. I never remember, but throw it on there so that way you can always see it when a new episode comes up. And if you're listening on YouTube or watching on YouTube, listening on YouTube, go ahead and click that thumbs up button. Go ahead and click that subscribe button and hit that notification bell. And all of those will allow me to see that you're enjoying these podcast episodes, that you're enjoying what I'm doing here on the Bowden Experience. And yeah, once again, I just want to remind you of this, that our God is faithful and that we can trust him. And as always, we'll talk next time.